Welcome to the first ever show of Not Your Ordinary Sports Show. I am Robert Henslee. I want to say thank you for joining us on this maiden voyage tonight. We're going to be with you every Monday night during the football season, and we hope you come along for the ride. We hope it's going to be a fun ride for you along the way. On my left side, a guy who will be with us every week, starting right tackle of the Houston Texans, Eric Winston. Eric, thanks for coming along, and looking forward to an exciting season ahead with you.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Also joining us, as we have different guests every week on the show, we'll start on my far left, a 10-time winner on the PGA Tour, a guy who also once dressed up as Mrs. Doubtfire and hit wedges from center field to home plate at a ballpark, Steve Elkington.
Hey, you know, I'll do whatever you got to do for a laugh, man.
Steve is going to be with us throughout the opening night here on Monday Night Football. Our other guest, starting on the far right, a guy who made his name on ice but has never completed a double Salchow, Chad Hedrick, a gold medal winning speed skater from the Olympics.
Yeah, thanks for having me here tonight. I'm excited. It's cool to hang out with guys that are very accomplished in everything they do as well. So a lot of camaraderie here, and it's a good time. And
on my near right, a guy who is no relation to R. Kelly, Scott Kelly. And thank goodness he's not any relation to R. Kelly, although I believe he can fly. He's a NASA astronaut. Scott, thanks for joining us and coming on the show.
Oh, my pleasure to be here today, and look forward to seeing this new way of watching a football game and broadcasting about it.
Along the way, we will be finding out more about each of our guests. We're going to have different guests throughout the year, so be sure to tune in every Monday night for Not Your Ordinary Sports Show. The first game of the season, of course, the Patriots at the Dolphins. Eric, we turn to your football expertise for a preview of this game. What do we expect tonight?
I don't know about that. But, you know, look, this is a division game. Like most division games in this league, there's not going to be a lot of secrets. These teams know each other very well. They know what to expect from each other. Obviously, Tom Brady, the class of the NFL when it comes to quarterbacking. Him and Peyton Manning have been leading this league for the last decade now or so, and doesn't look like there's much slowing up there. 14-2 last year. Tom Brady only had 4 interceptions last year, 26 touchdowns if I'm correct. Just an unbelievable a year for him as far as turnover ratio to touchdown ratio. And look, I think the Patriots went out and got better. They got Albert Haynesworth, they got Sean Ellis. They've improved through the draft. And, you know, they're looking, they added Waters, you know, right after camp got done. And, you know, he's going to be a big addition to their line. I think it's going to add a little power to their line, which I don't think they needed that much. So, you know, Bill Belichick's always looking to get better. You got Miami on the other hand. You know, they let go of some older players. They let go of Ronnie Brown. They let go of Ricky Williams. That would be a very older player. They let go of Ricky Williams, but they stayed with Chad Henne. There was some flirting going on with Kyle Orton in Denver, but that didn't get done. So Chad Henne's going to lead them out here, and he's leading them out now. Their offensive line's been a little bit in flux, but their defense is a very underrated defense. Carlos Dansby's on it. Cameron Wake had a bunch of sacks last year. A very underrated defense. I think that they'll be able to, you know, maybe get to Brady a little bit like Detroit did in the preseason. If they're able to, I think they'll keep it close. I think they'll run the ball a lot and try to kind of grind the game down and not play a fast-paced, high-scoring game. But, you know, you got to like the Patriots in this matchup. Anytime they're out on the field, especially against a division foe, which they've had a lot of success with in the past. You know, I think it's going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be a close game. But when Brady has the ball, it has to.
What's the line in the game?
Last I checked, 7 points, I believe. Patriots favored on the road.
Is that right?
Not that NFL players would follow.
Do you guys talk about that in the locker room?
There's not a lot of talk about the lines. You know, a lot of guys will look for it. Just say, hey, I wonder what the line is, because there's just all that curiosity.
You're not doing that.
What's it?
Not doing
no, there's no one. There's no one placing any.
Yesterday, you guys were favored by 9, right?
I think, you know, from what I heard, the line went from, I think when it came out that Peyton was, they took it down. I think they put it back up, and I think they put it like at 8.
And the Colts initially were favored by 1 against
by
the
1.
Texans.
That was like, you know, early before the camp started. And then I think once Peyton went out, the line went down and came back up. It was like 8, and it climbed, I think, as much as 9.5 or 10 at one point, and then it went down. But it's interesting. You're right, though. It is interesting. I know there are guys around the league that just like to know. They're just interested, and they look at it.
We do a little gambling when we, you know, play practice rounds, right? We don't have a line, but we have you can go online and they have matchups. They'll have, you know, me versus, you know, Justin Lennon.
Who's going to score better?
Who's going to score better for the day? Gotcha. And there's caddies that bet on that all day long.
Oh, but do the caddies get into it a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Caddy, is that where a lot of the action is?
There's a lot of action
by
in
the
the
caddies?
caddy yard. Yeah. But that guy Albert Hainsworth, right?
Yes.
Fat Albert, I believe.
He's bigger than you, right?
Oh, he's huge. Yeah, he's 330
So
probably.
they threw him off the team at, where was he at, Washington?
He was at Tennessee, and then he was at Washington, and he kind of forced his way out of there.
He couldn't play over there, right?
He didn't want to play over there.
So how does that work? Tell us
Different system. He didn't like the system.
How's
over
that
there.
work?
You know, I guess, you know, there's a kind of a playbook, I guess, if you want to get off a team, saying, listen, if you're that big of a distraction and you're that set against doing whatever the coach wants you to do, eventually they're going to get rid of you. And, you know, it's not right, but that's the way it is sometimes.
But he had heavy. It was heavy too, wasn't it? Heavy.
Yeah, a lot of pay. Oh, he got paid. You know, you got to remember he was the Defensive Player of the Year, I think, in 2008.
Right,
when he was the Tennessee Titans.
It was a contract year for Albert that year, though.
It was 2 contract
Yes,
years
it
back to
was.
back. He put together 2 contract years.
Do you guys do that when you go to space, like you're trying to get out of it, or?
You know, it's interesting. We don't get paid any extra for flying in space, but the Russians actually have contracts that they
do?
negotiate for their.
They negotiate.
Like,
Yeah,
I bet
for
I
their
can float
pay.
to the shuttle faster than you can for $10 or something, you know?
Now, is it like a hazard pay for the Russians,
Yeah,
or is it more?
It's kind of part of their compensation.
I can't believe that's not part of hazard pay for you guys.
It should be.
I would think
It should
so.
be.
Actually, it's a
absolutely is.
I would
privilege to
think
fly in
so.
space, so I
Hey,
now,
check.
This is the show will be about football on the way, but we're also going to talk about other things, as you can tell. We'll be talking a little bit with Scott about flying in space, with Chad about competing in the Olympics, and Steve about more stories on the PGA Tour. We're also going to be talking football. We want you to be a part of it. I want you to join us on Twitter at Thebus TV. You can text in or Twitter in your questions on our Twitter feed, brought to you by Verizon. We want you to be a part of it. If you have questions for any of our guests up here, for Eric or for me, we want to hear from you. At Thebus TV is the site. Let's go ahead and get out those Twitter questions, and as we get to breaks during the game, we'll address some of those Twitter questions along the way, in addition to finding out more from these guys. I want to ask you all, before we actually get the game started, your impressions of the September 11th commemoration yesterday. I thought it was a fantastic job by the NFL. With taps played before every game, a moment of silence, and flags that stretched across the field with the players involved in holding those out.
Absolutely.
I watched the whole thing all morning on ABC. You know, I watched the whole, you know, memorial where they opened the memorial, and Obama spoke, and so did President Bush, and all the bagpipers came in, and then they named all the people. I stood on that. I've been to that site, and when I stood there early on, I couldn't tee up a driver and hit across it. That's how big a space it is.
Wow.
I mean, it's like 300 yards across. Doesn't really get that perspective when you're looking at it on TV, right? But it's a big space, right? But they filled that all up almost now.
Yeah.
You know, with it's got to be huge. It's going to be awesome when those.
And they officially opened it this weekend, right? The memorial site there. They are. I just thought it brought back for me a lot of memories, and I mean, you can take my man card, but I was a little emotional with the tributes yesterday.
I think when that all happened, you know, the nation came together and everything, and I think a lot of people forgot about that, and this was just a reminder of what happened to us, and you see a lot of people coming together again as a country, and it was really cool.
Now, Scott, what was it like that day for you? As far, I mean, people might not realize you're part of the Navy.
Yeah.
You're still, certified under the Navy, and obviously astronaut. What was it like down there? Where were you at? Were you here?
I was actually on a Russian Navy ship in the Black Sea on September 11th.
But you also fly F-14s, right?
Well, I wasn't then.
Not then, but
yeah.
you fight a pilot.
Absolutely, yeah. So
is there anything you can't fly?
What's that?
Is there anything you can't fly? Helicopter?
I've flown helicopters, but I wouldn't land with my kids in the back.
like MacGyver. I mean, if we're going somewhere, we could hijack something.
Anything with wings.
You're the guy. He's the guy from the A-Team. He's Murdoch from the A-Team.
It's got wings.
He can fly anything. He's got wings. He can fly it.
Yeah.
So if we need to get somewhere in a hurry, we're calling Scott. And
No, seriously. So you were in the Black Sea.
I was in the Black Sea on a Russian Navy ship, and it was amazing how the Russian space program just responded to this tragedy and really took care of us, tried really hard to get us out of there, despite the whole country Russia basically being locked down as a result. The airports were closed.
So they closed everything over there.
Oh yeah,
too.
absolutely. It was really amazing to see just how the security situation just changed instantly in a place just so far removed from.
So other nations were thinking that could happen to them as well.
Absolutely.
Well, the September 11th commemoration is over, but we're just getting the season started here. If you're just joining us, it's the maiden voyage of Not Your Ordinary Sports Show. You can watch us on youtube.com/Thebus. You can watch us all around a number of websites, but that is our host site, youtube.com. This is a show brought to you by Billiard Factory. We're going to have some mentions along the way for billiardfactory.com. We may have a special guest coming over from Chicken Kitchen as well sometime here in the first quarter, and we'll have much more. Again, we want you to be a part of the show. Twitter feed, powered by Verizon, is Thebus TV, at Thebus TV. You can follow us, send us questions for Eric, for Steve, for Scott, or for Chad. We will be answering those questions along the way this evening. The Patriots and Dolphins getting ready to kick off. We're going to be talking about the game as the game gets going. I wanted to ask you, Eric, to get back to football real quick. You talked about the additions for the Patriots and the Dolphins. One guy you didn't mention is a guy that I think they're looking forward to being an every down back for the first time maybe ever, in Reggie Bush in Miami. Can Reggie be that guy for this Dolphins team?
I think that's a great question. He definitely doesn't fit the mold to me of what they really are about and what they want to do. Miami, ever since Sperano came over, wants to be a power football running team, wants to play action pass, and wants to control the clock. And that's not, to me, when I think of Reggie Bush, that's not the kind of back I think of. I think of a guy that you probably want to pitch him the ball, get him outside on a corner, get him one-on-one with some backers in some open space maybe and pass and let him do what he does. I don't think of Reggie Bush running between the tackles. Now, that's probably what they're going to ask him to do, and they're either going to look really smart or it might turn out bad. If Reggie Bush can say, hey, I'll be that guy that sometimes I'm going to go get those 3 yards because that's all that's there, then it could be a good thing because he could break a lot of big runs. But if he's not that guy and he can't take that pounding over a course of 16 weeks, then they're going to have to use other guys. They drafted, I think, a guy in the second round. I can't remember his name. That are going to take a lot of the
Daniel
load.
Thomas.
Yeah, that's going to take a lot of the load there. But
how fast do you run? I saw you downfield a couple times yesterday. You were putting some pretty good hoof on it downfield.
Yeah, I tried it.
It is hoof for me.
Yeah,
it is, right?
With me, it's hoof. Yeah.
You don't look pretty, but you get there.
Yeah.
But how far can he get around you? Like.
Oh, Reggie Bush, yeah. I mean, he's got.
I mean, how fast?
Are we talking 4.3 speed?
Yeah, he's got 4.4, 4.3 speed. I mean,
but that doesn't mean anything to us. What does that mean? What does
that
mean? Is that like you can't touch him?
It's like
it's twice as fast as you.
It's
can't
like
touch him?
It's like Bubba Watson driving and then you driving. How's that?
Well, that's a
Yeah.
big difference.
Basically,
big difference.
You could build a super Walmart between your ball and where his ball lands, right?
I got it. Yeah. Trophy cases are different.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There it is.
Don't have any trophies. Little case. But you can't touch him, right?
No, I mean, if it was
What about Arian Foster? Can you touch him if he wants you? If you're there and he's going to put the zig?
Not unless I had an angle on him. If it's me, if we're like right here and we're trying to run to the same spot, there's no chance.
And you take off running to the sideline.
If I had an angle on him and there's a short enough distance, I might be able to get to him.
You might touch him?
But
Get
I doubt
shoelace?
it. But I doubt it, yeah. But you saw Mike Brizell walk down Gary Brackett, yesterday on that interception. And that was an offensive lineman running somebody down. That was good.
We get underway. The kickoff, not return to the 20-yard line as the Dolphins get started. The ball, much was made this offseason of kick returns and moving up the line from the 30 to 35 and all the touchbacks that were going to happen. Yet yesterday on opening day, we had 3 kickoff returns for touchdowns, the most in 50 years.
Yeah. I think people are starting to play with it and seeing what they like. And let's face it, there's, with the way the roster limits are, you can't carry a lot of kickers. So your field goal kicker might be an excellent field goal kicker, but he doesn't have a strong leg. So that means as a team, are you willing to take another kicker that can just kick it out of the end zone and that's it? Or are you saying, okay, you know what, we're going to have a cover team that can cover and that can and that will tackle guys. And the way they're starting now 5 yards behind the kicker, it's going to give them some time to set up some blocks and get some returns.
First play of the game, Henne throwing deep. You talk about Tony Sperano and that run-first offense. They come out throwing with Brandon Marshall down the sidelines. I think he might have been out of bounds, though, as he made that catch. So it's 2nd and 10 for the Dolphins. I think Chad Henne, look, I'm not saying that he belongs up there with the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he gets a bum rap as an incompetent quarterback.
Indy'd like him, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Chad Henne suffers from what a lot of young quarterbacks suffer from, is this tendency to turn over the ball. And I think that's what they've been suffering from. They haven't scored a lot in the red zone. They haven't been very high in their red zone efficiency in the past. But here you go right here. This is what we're talking about. Getting Reggie Bush one-on-one with linebackers right here in passing situations and let him go to work. That's a mismatch. That's what they need to be doing, is getting Reggie Bush in space one-on-one with backers and letting him go to work, not shoving him in between the tackles. Let Daniel Thomas do that.
Yeah, well, that sounds easy.
Yeah, hey, that's what these coaches they're doing. Look, there's a big cutback play.
Reggie
there you
Bush,
see Daniel Thomas right there.
I mean, when he's got a hole to run through, there's no stopping him.
Well, and that's exactly right. If there's a hole to run through,
Yeah.
but how many times in an NFL game do you see gaping holes?
You made a pretty big hole for 44 a couple times yesterday. I could have got through one of them.
I think that's why people here in Houston were so upset with the draft, because in college the guys didn't have the speed there, and he had all the holes to go, and he was just very explosive. But in the pro game, it's not the same, and he hasn't done the same things that he did in college.
It's different too. Reggie's not a one-cut guy. In our offense, you want a back that can get one cut and get upfield and stick his head down sometimes for 4 yards. Reggie's a shaker. He's a guy that has a lot of shake to him, and that's not bad. It's what fits what scheme, and you don't want to put a square peg in a round hole.
Boy, the Dolphins moving the ball effectively in this first drive. How much does it help that they play the Patriots twice a year? Does that help a team like the Dolphins?
No.
Because they know them better?
No, I would think it hurts. It's much like most
hurt
teams that play the Colts twice a year. It doesn't help that much. But as far as game planning, like I said in the intro, they know the Patriots. They know what to expect. They know the players. Getting ready for a game like this, there's not a lot of secrets. It's about going out there and performing and playing. And right now you're seeing, the Dolphins have a good drive so far, and they're working it downfield. They got a big 3rd and 4 coming up right here. But like you said, there's not a lot of secrets in any divisional game you watch. When you watch in the NFL, those games are different than out of divisional games because their relationships aren't so close.
We just had a pass sail through the hands of the receiver. Do y'all have, like they have in baseball, where there's a kangaroo court? If a receiver drops a pass, does he get a fine from within the clubhouse?
Well, it just depends, I think, sometimes how that receiving room goes.
What about the Cowboys today? Are they got?
I would think there's probably some
stuff going on.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, that was they blew that game pretty bad last night. That wasn't that reminded me a lot of last year.
What was the worst
against
part of
the
those?
Redskins when they lost 13-7 and they had that fumble at the end of the first half, run back, and they end up losing by 6.
What was the worst
their
thing out
season
of the
went
three?
like that afterward?
Fumble, block kick, or the interception? Which one?
One
of them. If they didn't have
was,
all three, if they had just one less, they would have won, right?
Yeah.
You would think.
Yeah.
To me, the block kick, I just don't understand block punts because it's
went in
really as simple.
untouched.
It's really as simple as but I have in the past. I played it in college, and it's as simple as counting 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's my guy. And for whatever reason, you can get confused on there. And like you said, when you go on, it's another thing picking up a guy, throwing him back, and then blocking the punt. When you go untouched, that is just a complete
right down the middle.
miscommunication. Yeah, right down the middle, and just bad scheme, bad everything.
4th
Bad
and
play.
1 around the 20-yard line, and the Dolphins are going for it, and they end up calling timeout.
I'd go if I was a coach.
To go over the play, I guess. I mean, what happens in those cases? If you see a look on a defense, is that where you decide?
Yeah, sometimes you
got to call timeout.
Yeah, sometimes there's plays that are put in, I think, and the quarterbacks know that, hey, this isn't a good play against what we're trying to do. It's 4th. Now, if it's 2nd and 4, you run it, you try to make the best out of it. But it's 4th and 4 in your own territory, first drive of the game. You don't want to mess with that. You want to make sure you have the best play possible, especially if you're going for it.
We are starting out the season, Not Your Ordinary Sports Show, the first of 17 weeks of fun here, as we're going to be broadcasting each game. Each Monday night game, we're going to be broadcasting our show along with you. We want you to watch the game and join us as well as we watch the game and talk about the game and talk about pop culture and talk about what's going on in the NFL and college football. Along the way, we are going to talk about a number of subjects. We're also going to spend some time visiting with our guest. If you're just joining us, we have Steve Elkington, PGA Tour golfer, here on my far left. We've got Chad Hedrick, Olympic gold medal winning speed skater, and we have Scott Kelly, astronaut, former commander. We also have a commander of the space station, I should say. We also have a special guest joining us. Who knows who's going to stop by Not Your Ordinary Sports Show. It is from Chicken Kitchen. It's Chick Norris. That's right, Chick Norris.
Not Chuck Norris, but Chick Norris.
Chick Norris.
I don't want any Chick Norris jokes.
Delivering our beverages for the
Tweet
evening.
to
Let's make
Quite
sure
the chicken soup.
that these beverages are legal.
The Bus TV. Yeah.
The Chicken Kitchen, though, we're glad to have them on board. They're feeding us every week, and they're bringing us, Chick Norris bringing us our drinks. Hey, guys, did you know that Chick Norris once made a robot for his science class? We now know this robot as the Terminator.
I would have thought Robot Chicken would have been a better name.
The folks at Chicken Kitchen, again, very sincere thanks to them for being a part of Not Your Ordinary Sports Show. All right, the Dolphins did not change their mind. Maybe they called it a different play. But they are, in fact, going for it on the 21-yard line on 4th down. And
Nice run.
And they get it. So
Yeah.
do you have to take more risks against the Patriots?
Well, I think when you play the Patriots, you play the Colts, Saints to a certain degree, probably the Packers now. You got to maximize every possession you have. You cannot give up possessions. You can't settle for field goals on a 4th and 1. It's just you can't give up those points, and you can't give up that chance to carry the ball. Now they're holding on to the ball another 2 minutes at the very least. Even if they kick for a field goal, they still have it out of Brady's hands and in their hands. And like I say, maybe if they're playing Baltimore, they kick the field goal there. Now they feel like they can get good movement, they go for it.
So their mindset is like it was 4th and 1 in the 4th quarter and tied and not
that guy go.
first quarter.
Yeah, something to that degree. Like I say, every possession when you're playing an elite quarterback, you have to be thinking, if I have a chance, you go for it. It's almost like in blackjack. When you got 10, you're not sure if you should double down. Go ahead and double down because you have to. You have to take those chances. You have to have those calculated risks. Maybe you wouldn't against other teams, but you have to.
You guys are all skilled. Why are they
because
so skilled?
Because the Patriots.
Is it a better scheme?
Well, listen. There's 15 quarterbacks to me in this league, 16. Well, to a certain degree, a better team, but that quarterback they have is an elite quarterback. And what you're saying, and basically what I'm saying is, they're going to score points.
Yeah.
And if your team isn't a high-scoring point team, which I wouldn't put the Dolphins in a high, but so is their chances because they might only be down there 3 or 4 times, so they can't come away with 17 overall points. They got to come away with 24, 28 overall points.
Offsetting penalties on that last play, a nice run by Reggie Bush, but a holding call and a defensive penalty set it back at 1st and 10, just inside the red zone in Miami. And Reggie Bush running between the tackles still.
It's funny watching Reggie Bush with a different number.
He's not going to make it all year if he goes up like that, is he?
That's kind of what that's my
size?
point. He's not big. I want to say he's 5'10", maybe 210, 220.
They probably list him at 6 feet, but that's about right.
You got legs bigger than him.
No, I met Reggie one time, and he was
Is he not that
about
big?
the same size as me.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'11", 195.
But you got that big cow ass from skating,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All them guys.
That's one way to put it.
All them guys that skate when they get their gear on, it's like that, right?
I guess.
Well, is it or it isn't? It is, isn't it?
It is. That's where the power comes from. The way that we skate, it builds up your lower back and your butt.
I'll tell you what. If you want to look at,
so you're saying
skaters
Chad's
and hockey
got
players
back.
are the most disproportional people.
He's got the
big thighs.
Yeah.
big thighs.
How big are your thighs?
Oh, I don't know.
Chad?
I don't know.
You haven't measured your thighs?
No.
Well, didn't running back for Texas,
Earl
Campbell, didn't he have
34-inch thighs? Yeah.
Is that right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that for real?
That's what they
That's like
said.
a waist, right?
Maybe
Yeah.
it was
That's
a
my
waist.
waist.
They used to
bigger
make
than yours, right?
custom jeans
My
for him
waist?
at
Smaller
Huddle.
than your thigh.
34,
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
34, 34.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
34.
And you talk about the power coming from those
It's like a
legs.
tree trunk.
So is it leg power
You
or
watch
is it
guys
ass
hit
power?
them. It almost
No,
looked
the
like
way that we skate now, the technique that they use, it's more your lower back and your glutes. So a lot of the physique of the skaters is changing. Before, like, I don't know if you know a guy named Eric Heiden in 1980.
Sure.
He won 5 gold medals, but he just had legs
Unbelievable catch.
like Earl
That
Campbell.
right there.
But then, now
What about
it's
that guy
different.
from Canada that fell in that Olympic race? He was massive. That he skated the next year and won it. Came
Oh,
back.
you're talking about Dan Jansen.
Yeah, he
was American.
He's
Oh,
American.
America, sorry.
yeah.
It was in Canada, though,
Big-
wasn't it?
big kid.
The Olympics
Calgary.
was in
Yeah, Calgary.
big.
Yeah.
How tall is he?
He's a little taller than me, 6'1", probably.
What's the ideal
Can you
speed
take
skating
him?
size?
Just depends on what distance you do. That's
you
like
take
saying,
him?
do you want to get 3 yards or do you want a runner who
I
can go
got you.
forward?
No, that's a good point.
Can you take him?
Huh?
Can you take him?
That was a nice catch
Well,
there.
all my times were much faster, but he's, you know.
But I'm going to defer to
Hey,
him.
I've got a bigger trophy case. Let's just say, okay?
Yeah.
Anthony Fasano with a
Huge catch.
fantastic catch inside the 5-yard line, and the Dolphins spend their second
No,
timeout.
that's a problem. That's a problem.
They're going to have one timeout left for the first half. I mean, they want to make sure they get points here, but come on, you can't use 2 timeouts on your
That's
opening drive.
not. That's not. Let's get the play right. We can't get the play in. You know, we're not. The thing about the NFL is it's much different than college. Is when you make a big play, as soon as the ball carrier's tackled, that time starts again. So even if you make a 70-yard play, you got to get down the field, get the play in, play called, and then get on the line and run.
Who's got the play? It's in the ear?
Yes, they have, the quarterbacks all carry microphones in their ears, and so the coach is sitting there. Now, can you have short outs? Can you have, if the crowd's too loud, if you're in a visiting dome, I mean, you can barely get it in. Sometimes you got to go to hand signals or to the wrist.
Steve, this
Can
is
they
high
talk?
tech. This isn't Aussie rules,
He
okay?
can't talk. He can't talk. He can only listen.
only.
And I think at 15 seconds on the play clock, it shuts out. So it automatically cuts out. So if you're trying to get down the field, get it, and then you don't quite hear it the first time, and then it cuts out on you.
What do you guys do? What do you guys do? What does he say to you? Is it half the play? Because yesterday.
Well, I don't hear it. It's only to Matt.
Only the quarterback.
Only the
And
quarterback.
only
Only the
usually
quarterback.
middle
Yeah, but
linebacker.
he says when you guys get in the huddle, he gives you something, doesn't he?
Oh, sure. Now he reconveys the play to
The
us.
whole thing or a little bit of it?
Oh yeah, the whole play. I
Because-
mean, you have to know the whole play.
Indy, they made a big thing on the TV yesterday that said that their new quarterback had to do the whole play, whereas Peyton only said one word.
Interesting.
Because
Yeah.
he's Peyton Manning, and the team just divines the play
He had
for
it
his
shortened
one word.
into. He had it
His
shortened
voice.
into one
I know what
thing.
he's thinking.
Well, if now I will
That's
say
what they were
this.
saying.
Could a quarterback know the offense so well that he can go to one guy and tell him the exact information he needs from that play? Absolutely. I don't need to hear the routes. I mean, sometimes I do for that's football 600 level. But if you just need, all you need to know is the protection and the snap count.
Give us an example. Give us an in huddle business here.
Like what would Matt say?
Well,
if
I
it-
don't want to put our plays out because
put it-
I tend
hang on,
to.
teach us one.
Yeah, here we go. Right on the goal line,
Yep.
and that's what you don't want to happen. That's first down, first and goal from the one. You've been pushing them around, and now you go to a little flood pass, and then you get sacked.
Glad they used that
and use
timeout
2
to call that
timeouts.
As
play.
a quarterback, A, you cannot let that happen. As a quarterback, you can't let that happen, and B, you got to question the play call there. I mean, you're throwing a flood pass into the short side of the field. You know, if you like it in pregame, then you got a chance here. But look, you get your formation. The back doesn't get the cut. He gets up, and now you're sacked.
The Patriots' defense last year was a liability. They made a lot of changes this offseason as we watch them trying to stop the Dolphins here. Do you think they're that much better? One of the biggest changes they made was going from a 3-4 to a 4-3, or kind of a hybrid 3-4
We'll
to a
see.
4-3.
You know, we'll see. You know, obviously, like I said, they've added Sean Ellis. They've added Albert Haynes. Is that Hainsworth or Vince? Yeah, that's Hainsworth right there making a play. Those guys are tough to block. Up the middle, they should be very good with Wilfork and Hainsworth. Those are 2 guys. Look,
Big
I mean,
bodies. They got that kind of
that's close to
that
700.
backside
I guarantee you
that
that's
Steve was
close to
talking about.
700 pounds of people.
What did you call it, Steve?
What's that?
The backside that Chad and those skaters have?
Yeah, our strength, or whatever you want to call it. It looked like there was a big gap there, but it closed real quick.
It does, and that's the proper way to play it. Obviously, you're going to play one guy in the one gap, and you're going to play the other. So now you got third down. It was first and goal from the 1, and now it's third and goal from the 10. They're
There you
gonna do
go.
quarterback sneak. Look at this, and he's going to get
A
in.
quarterback draw
quarterback
for
draw.
the touchdown.
That's great. Now that's great game planning. They know in what set. If we put out this one set out of this side of the field, that they're going to be playing this coverage. They knew they were going to be playing this coverage. They knew the opportunity was there for them.
But you can't count on getting 9 yards on a quarterback draw.
No, you can't. But they felt like, look, there are no backs spread across the field, 5 wide receivers.
It's
They've
empty.
got 5 guys in the box against their 5. Look right there. And
They just left the middle wide open.
So that wasn't an audible.
That was a play call, and I'm guessing that the routes, the receivers have routes off of that, and if they brought a blitz, he'd throw hot. That's probably how they would do it.
Wow. That's a
why would-
gutsy call.
Now, why would the Patriots in the offseason decide to go to a 4-3 and the Texans a 3-4? I mean, what would
It's largely based on personnel. He saw that the players he had were probably more suited towards a 4-3. I also think you could make the argument that Belichick's a contrarian. He wants to do what's different than the rest of the league's doing. And a lot of the league is moving towards a 3-4. And you can make the argument now that 5 technique defenders, 5 technique defensive ends, nose tackles, outside linebackers are going to be at a premium now. So you're going to have to pay more for these guys because the demand's going to be higher.
Because more teams are going to a 3-4.
Yes. So if now you're playing a 4-3, so you're going to look for 3 technique defensive tackles instead of 5 techniques.
A defensive tackle who, for those of you watching at home and aren't familiar, 3 technique lines, a defensive tackle that lines up between the tackle and the
offensive guard and the tackle, more on the guard.
5 technique lines up on the tackle.
Yes, and they're different kind of players. They're, 3 techniques tend to be more penetrators, can be bigger sometimes, but a 5 technique is usually a bigger, longer guy.
Bulky,
300 guy. It just depends. Different, obviously, defenses play 3-4. We play our 3-4 differently than the Pittsburgh Steelers play their 3-4. But the thing is I think a lot of me thinks that he thinks that the market is going to be different. So looking forward 4 or 5 years ahead, he's saying to himself, these players are going to be cheaper.
He's saving money by doing this?
I think that's...
like coupon shopping?
Listen, I think in the short term, his team's already there. I think with the addition of Hainsworth, the addition of Wilfork, those guys, he's going to play a 4-3.
And he got bargains on
Hainsworth. I also think going long term, he understands that, listen, the league's going towards 3-4. There's going to be better deals to be had on players and less money to be spent overall on 4-3 guys compared to 3-4.
It's supply and demand. As there's more demand for 3-4.
And that's what I think, because I would be willing to guess there's more 3-4 teams now in the league than there are 4-3.
Yeah.
And so that means
it's been around 50-50, but more teams.
Can we go back for a second to where what Schwab says to you in the huddle? What does it give us? Give us the thing. Does he give you a formation first and then the play, or is it play? How's it work?
It changes, but he's going to always give the formation first. So whatever the formation is.
So
in college, we used to have a formation called right doubles, and that was a 1-back formation with 2 receivers to one side and 1 receiver to the other, and the tight end to the right. And then he'll give you a protection. So a protection we had in college was called firm. That was the protection. We knew we had the Mike and the Sam plus all the big guys up front. So we knew if those guys blitz, we had to get to those guys. Now, and then the back knew off of that he had the will linebacker.
And you haven't even gotten to the play yet. You've only done the formation.
So he says right doubles firm,
jet X,
826 tab, and that tells the receivers what they're doing.
Any more BS? Any more BS like
onto?
Any more extra little like, hey man, will you get that guy or any of that, or is it just straight book?
When the quarterback, there's always, you learn this from the first day you start playing. When the quarterback steps in the huddle, all the talking stops.
But he can say something to.
Oh yeah, but he's the only one talking. Now, when you get to the line, if you go to your guy, hey, let's take these 2 guys up to here. Let's block it like that. There's always communication at the line of scrimmage between offensive linemen.
You guys are all talking.
You have to, because you're never
going
to get the same.
Check out that girl in 108, row 12.
The Budweiser girl.
That only happens on timeouts. That's a different story. That's more a timeouts.
Is there a quarterback that would make jokes in the huddle?
Sure. Anytime you're starting to drive, every quarterback's different. Every quarterback handles it a different way, and sometimes.
What's ours like?
Matt's, I would say, is very businesslike. I think he's got a good.
Looks real serious.
Yes. Well, he's got a good beat on the team, though. I think he knows there's certain times that to come in and keep things light, but he's also know there's certain times to come in and let's put the pedal to the metal and let's go. And I think he plays it very well. I like the way he is. I think we've all kind of grown together, and I think we all know each other and kind of know what to expect from each other, and I think that's all you can ask.
For those of you tuning in for the first time to Not Your Ordinary Sports Show, Eric plays right tackle for the Houston Texans. The Matt Schwab, as in some people may say,
does that bug you as much as it bugs me? It just bugs me.
It is Matt Schwab, the Texans starting quarterback.
But
Tom
it's
Brady
spelled kind
going
of like Charles
deep.
Schwab in a way.
No W in there.
No, there's no W, but people love to add it in.
And Brady
put those glasses on.
In their short passing game, the 3rd play of the game, they go deep down the middle of the field.
Here you go.
And they're in Dolphins territory.
It took 3 plays.
I get it.
And now they're on the other side of the field already.
I mean,
you got a play action pass, and
who's that right there?
He's running a deep post to Deion Branch, I think.
That's got to be the hardest job in football, being a cornerback out on left in single coverage deep downfield, right?
Well, quarterback's the hardest.
Well, okay. I mean,
but other than that, it's
where
very.
Nobody talks about you if you do your job. They only talk about
exactly.
you if
It's
you
much
don't.
like playing left tackle or right tackle. I really, when you have no help, you know you're one-on-one with that guy against an elite pass rusher or elite receiver, and you got to find a way to get it done, and that's hard. And it's even, it adds to the difficulty of it when you have a quarterback like Brady that you know is going to put the ball on the money 95 out of 100 times.
Oh, yeah.
You know he's so accurate, he's going to put the ball on the money, so you have to be all over him.
Now, do you have Wives' Day out, like when the teams get together, and do they have like lingerie shows and stuff? Does his missus come down?
So you think, so like in your mind,
on the
this is
tour,
how, in your mind, this is how it's going. Like the wives get together, put on some lingerie for the guys, and then
on the tour, the wives get together and have lunch.
Is that right?
They might have a fashion show or something like that.
For them or for the guys?
Not for them.
Oh, for them.
But you could go, maybe.
Sneak in.
I don't know.
Yeah, Eric
I mean, his missus
can disguise himself so well.
Now I got another question. Does that hurt when you get hit, like in every play? You get hurt? I mean, I know you get hurt, but
no, it doesn't hurt. If you hit them right, it doesn't hurt. Now
what do you mean by
can.
that? Because I watched yesterday. You know, I never watch, like, I usually watch the quarterback. I don't know what you guys do. But yesterday I watched
the lineman. I watched the right tackle.
Oh, I watched him yesterday, and he's all over. He's all over the show, right? He's all over down, and he runs and do a lot of running, right? But you get knocked around pretty good, huh? I mean, you're a good-sized lad.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of that goes with the job description.
When you do get dinged up, like
it's the little stuff. I'm telling you, it's not the big stuff you see.
Feet.
It's the little stuff that hurts the worst.
Fingers.
I got this knuckle right here. Probably came out against the 49ers when I was going for a fumble, but you never noticed because I nailed it right on a helmet. Poof, you know, and it's like, oh, geez, you know, and I trying to get up to a linebacker and I tripped and I came and I hit my forearm right here against his shin, and it's bruised, it's sore today.
Like Mike's finger.
Exactly. You know, you look at these guys with mangled fingers and you just see the Patriots.
Fantastic second effort. Yeah. Jarvis Green Ellis with a touchdown.
So the Dolphins, and just to reiterate what we're saying, the Dolphins had a 14-play drive that slaved away to get everything.
Spent 2 timeouts.
Yeah, just spent 2 timeouts. And now with 6 plays, 7 to 8 yards, 3 minutes.
Yeah, but
that's what you're playing against.
If they can do the same thing again, hold it away from them, they're in the game, right?
Exactly, but it's the degree of difficulty. The degree of difficulty to do that is
like playing golf against
very
Nicholas
tough. And that's
Tiger
what
Woods, right?
You know, listen, that's how the Patriots set up their defense. That's how Indianapolis sets up.
Yeah.
They're going to make you go 12, 13, 14 plays and say you can't be perfect every play and get us down there. You're going to make a mistake at some point, and then we'll force you to punt.
Tom Brady just sitting there as cool as anyone on the sidelines.
Mate, he hasn't even got a sweat up. He's throwing like 4 passes.
They marched right down the field, answered that time-consuming Dolphins drive with a touchdown drive of their own.
He's thinking about his missus.
Yeah, well, wouldn't you be? During the breaks, we'd like to take some questions from the Twitter feed. We encourage you to follow us at Thebus TV. It's at Thebus TV on Twitter, our Twitter feed powered by our friends at Verizon. We have a question, actually a request for you, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
In honor of your presence on our first show here today, the fans of Not Your Ordinary Sports Show have created a drinking game. They want you to give us a mate.
A mate?
A mate.
Mate.
Just the word mate.
Mate. Every time you say mate, I guarantee you they're taking a drink.
Yep. Good on you, mate. Oh, is that right?
I guarantee that's the game.
Every time I say mate?
That's the game. Every time you say mate. So
good on you, mate.
It's up to you now about how intoxicated.
I'll
there's a group of people somewhere in this country right now, and
they might be in Australia because I said it.
There you go. They might be in Australia.
Why couldn't they be there?
What time is it over there right now?
16 hours ahead.
Pretty early.
16 hours ahead.
So the game's already over.
He's our expert time management
or
right
so
here.
tomorrow.
Well, if you think about it, you're right. It is already over.
Yeah, 11.
Now, how's football? How's American football in Australia?
No, they don't play it. Play rugby.
Well, I know they don't play it, but do they follow it? Do they watch it at all? Is it on?
There is some
rules,
interest.
right?
Yeah, there is some interest there. There is.
What's better? What's more popular, rugby or Australian rules?
Australian rules is primarily down in the bottom of Australia. Rugby is more or less the whole country. Yeah. Rugby's.
Was it commercialized? I mean, sponsors and
they got
professional.
The whole show. Yeah, they got the whole show. They don't make money like these guys, but the top guys make pretty good money.
They don't even wear pads, do they?
You mean they don't wear custom shirts with their
Now, when I
initials
watch
on
that,
them and
everyone
stuff?
thinks we're crazy. When I watch that, I'm like, those guys are nuts.
Yeah.
Like, those guys are out of their mind nuts.
I played in the Pro-Am with Emmett Smith at the Colonial, and Emmett had just got back from a holiday in Australia, and they asked him to play. And he went out and ran around for a little bit, and then he just went over to the side and said, "You guys can call me whatever you want. I'm not going back out there."
Exactly.
Because he ran out there and, you know, 2 guys pummeled him. You know, he got nothing on.
Oh, he actually ran a play?
Yeah, he went out there. He ran around for, yeah. They got him the ball.
Those guys lose a lot of teeth and stuff. Is it just?
Oh, yeah.
Cauliflower ear. I never get that. I don't understand how that happens. But
That's more wrestling, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, but you see those the
rugby,
guys
right?
the guys that
Some of the guys wear the leather helmets.
Yeah, they do the scrum that cover their ears.
Nah, well, yeah, just the second rowers and the props, because
Yeah, what is that all about? They're trying to push the ball out from the back to.
Yeah, it's just like a tug of war the other way. They push it so it comes out the back. Yeah,
it's a little too close for my
close
taste.
to.
Yeah, just all those men kind of rubbing together. And
I got you.
You're a lineman, so. So this is our first show, Not Your Ordinary Sports Show.
You don't like to shoulder up then.
Not like that, no. And we've already gotten into rugby. No, I wanted to take a minute to visit with Scott and Chad also about their roles in getting here. And Chad, you of course won the gold medal, what, 5 years ago now, was it?
Yeah, 5 years ago.
What are you up to nowadays?
I'm working in oil and gas here in Houston, and just
there's not much ice in oil and gas.
No. Started something completely new. Set some new goals for myself, and just really excited about the new challenges ahead of me.
Now, you're originally from here?
I'm originally from Spring.
Okay, you're originally from here, though.
Now live out in Spring right now, and just starting a new career.
Do you still get out on the skates, or is that?
No, I don't own a pair of skates anymore. And
wow.
I was just talking to Steve. I was like, you got to get tired of it from time to time, where you don't even want to look at your clubs, you know.
Yeah, you rollerblade though. You originally weren't you a rollerblade?
Originally inline skater, yeah. And then.
What about your kids? They do it?
My daughter just got her first pair of skates, and my dad owns a roller rink, and they took her over to skate at the roller rink. And really, I'm dreading it because I spent my whole childhood there, and I don't want to do it. But if she loves it,
could she do it?
She's pretty good. She's 2.5, and she can skate pretty good.
Really?
So, yeah.
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
Wow. Scott, real quickly on yourself. Now, I guess the shuttle program is in a transition period right now. What are you occupying your time with?
Well, I got back from the space station in March. I was up there for 159 days, and I'm just kind of at the end of this 6-month kind of downtime where you do a lot of the debriefs and take time off and public appearances. But pretty soon I'll be starting supporting the guys in training for future space station missions. You know, we're going to still fly with the Russians for the time being and build our own rocket, hopefully within the next 5 years.
So do you speak Russian?
A little bit.
Really?
Now, is it true when you come back, your eyeballs are going to pop out when you come back from the space shuttle? Is that right?
You push them back in, though.
Don't they have problems? Don't you have problems? They pop out, or they come halfway out, or what? No, that's not true. But you have a problem with the eyes.
You guys believe anything down there.
I can never tell when he's actually being serious.
But they do. You have problems when you come back physically, right?
Some people have vestibular problems. Other people, with me, I was really sore for about a month after.
I actually went and worked out with him about, 3 weeks after you got back?
No,
2 weeks?
it was like the second week, I think.
2 weeks, yeah. Like, so about 10 to 12 days down at, we were locked out. I needed to get a workout in.
Scott was like, it was going to be like just
Yeah,
rehab.
that's what you said. You were like, we're not going to do that much. We're just going to do some rehab. We go down there. It's this complete medicine ball circuit that he's doing.
Try to crush
and they go after it. I mean, he warms up by running a mile. They do it. He was still hurting, though, coming back. Couldn't bend as well. And people don't realize the effects of being in space, what it does to your bones, what it does to everything.
How's the bowel work when you come back?
Beautifully. Better than on orbit.
Now, I got a question, funny enough. But when you are up in the space station, it's big, right?
Yeah,
can you just float down over to the Russian side and see what's happening? And
there's not sides, is there? Is there like a red side?
There's no Berlin Wall.
there is a side, right? There's a side.
Two different. There's the U.S. segment, and then there's the Russian side, and it is somewhat different. But
so, let's say you're watching Cheers or something, and you're in your off time. Can you just float down there?
We're all one crew, so yeah, we
and you go down there and see what's happening.
Go down there and eat their food.
They're having they're knitting an armpit sweater or something, or they're eating some goulash or whatever, and you see
we can go down there and eat their food. They come down and eat.
Is that right?
We hang out there. Yeah.
Is it?
Do you like the Russian? Do you like the Russian food?
Yeah, some
Pretty
of it.
bland, right? Is there just
Yeah, on orbit, some of it's pretty good. You know, they have like a lot of canned
Different
meat.
taste on
there you
orbit.
go.
Different taste.
A little saltier.
Do you have a setup up there, or is it real formal? Is there a setup where it's relaxing, or is there an area? Like
Yeah, we have a little
lounge?
area, like a little kitchen area that where you share your meals and watch movies. And I watched almost every Texans game last season in space.
Wait, you can get the games up there?
I actually
Yeah.
talked to Scott
Wow.
after a game on the phone on the field when I was
Yeah.
out there with my family.
So who gets to control the remote control?
I was the commander.
So you get the can you come to my house and talk to my wife?
Wait, you talked to him while he was in space?
Yeah, I talked to him
did.
on the phone because his brother came. His brother's also an astronaut, and his brother came to a game and was like, I got Scott on the horn right now. He just got done watching the game. I think it was after the Kansas City game. And I said, really? I didn't believe it either. And I thought it was going to be, you ever watch those NBC ones where, they're over in Egypt or something like that, and they ask a question, and then you see them staring at the camera, and then they answer
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's like,
There's
like
a little,
any,
little.
there's,
bit.
there's a tad, but it's hardly anything you can think of. It really is.
I went down and did the
it's that
same
impressive.
thing with one
Yeah,
of
you
his.
talked to Dan Tani.
Yeah.
He was lying. He was on the toilet at home. There was a little echo.
Dan, I
Capricorn
went down
one.
to the space station, did the same
O.J.
thing. And then
Simpson.
I was getting the coolest thing in the world is I was getting an email from Dan
Uh-huh.
from space
Yep.
as he went across the St. Andrews Golf Club. He sent an email, and then when he
Picture of it.
his mother
From space.
Yep, his mother was from my hometown in Australia. Funny enough, Wagga Wagga.
Scott sent me a picture.
I just sent you a bunch of pictures of Miami. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah,
that
Miami
hot
really
Russian chick
stands
that he
out from
works with up there?
space.
What's that?
He had the hot Russian chick. He sent you the picture of the Russian chick.
No, satellite pictures.
Oh,
So,
sorry.
Good news is the Dolphins didn't use any timeouts on their last possession. Bad news is they went 3 and out. The Patriots with the ball back. Long game called back because of a penalty, but Tom Brady goes right back to work picking apart the Dolphins defense. Is he the most accurate quarterback in the NFL?
He's got to be up there. His just decision making right now is the way he plays the game, how well he's in tune with this offense. You can't ask for anything more. The guy's just, it doesn't seem like he ever makes mistakes. And that's why he's so tough to beat. It's like playing Peyton. You're never comfortable. You never think a lead's big enough. And he's got so many weapons. And that's the thing. I wouldn't say they have that one standout receiver. They don't.
They did a few years ago when Randy Moss
but
had
they have
his
now they have
return.
6 really good ones, and it's like, how are you going to play that? Who are you going to put on who when everybody's the same?
But
and it really brings up
It's
a lot of matchup
impressive
problems.
because they don't have a dominant running game, which to pass like that without a solid running game.
And you've probably seen this as much as anybody else. And there's Wes Welker on some sort of handoff. Or no, that's Woodhead.
Danny Woodhead. They're about the same size,
They
5'3".
spread people out so much, and they make you respect their passing. They make you have people over the top that all they're done now is they have a blocker for a blocker, and that's all you can ask for in the NFL. If you have a blocker for the blocker, they're going hurry up offense right now. They're pressing the Dolphins. They got them in a personnel group they like, and there's another pass up the seam. I think that time it is to Welker right there. And now he's hurrying up again. See, what happens now is they have the Dolphins in the personnel group they like. They have the Dolphins, whatever it is. I think it's probably nickel, or they have them in their base.
They won't let them change.
They won't let them change.
They're in nickel right
so,
now.
Yeah, so now they're running. They called a quick run over the Woodhead. He's got 3 yards. We'll see what he does. Okay, now we're at the end of the first quarter. But what we were saying earlier basically is just you're going to spread it out to so many different people that the second you have to respect that with your defense. You're going to get a body on a body, and that running game comes naturally. It's the pass setting up the run, and I think you've seen a lot of teams go to that the last 10, 12 years.
I mean, you would never have seen a guy like Woodhead 5 years ago playing in the NFL. I mean, how are they making it
Well, the
possible
Jets-
for
Woodhead
guys that
playing
small?
on probably
The Jets
25
cut
other
him
teams in
last
NFL.
year in the middle of the year. The Patriots pick him up, and he steps right into
You have to
a
have a
major
special
role.
kind of team for Woodhead. He's not going to fit in every offense. There's a lot of offensive players that aren't going to, and that's not a knock on him. That's just, hey, he found the right fit for him, and the Patriots found the right fit for them, and it's working out real well. And I think that's kind of what it's all about. And some guys, it's not that they weren't good enough to play in the NFL. They're just opportunity and the timing just didn't match up right. I guess that's kind of story of life sometimes.
Hey, we want to say thank you to our hosts here, BilliardFactory.com, providing all the furniture you see here. The first show of Not Your Ordinary Sports Show. If you're just joining us, we're going to be here every Monday night. We want you to be a part of it. To join us, follow us on Twitter at Thebes TV. You can send in your questions. We're going to get to those Twitter questions brought to you by Verizon coming up in just a little bit. I want to quickly reintroduce our guest panel here. We've got 10-time PGA Tour winner Steve Elkington. We've got Olympic gold medal winner Chad Hedrick and NASA astronaut Scott Kelly, along with Eric Winston and myself, Robert Henslee. We're going to be here every Monday night. Eric and I will. And we'll be joined by different guests along the way. We hope you enjoy it as much as we do. We're going to be talking football, of course, primarily during the show. But as you can see, we get off topic quite a bit, whether it's talking about life in space or training to be an Olympic gold medalist speed skater or life on the tour. We may be talking politics, movies, women, who knows. We are going to be doing it every Monday night.
Steve's on the show, we're talking women.
Yeah.
Mate, I got a question that I tweeted today.
Okay.
When I know we
Why
had
don't you guys just switch spots?
no, we had a great win. We had a great win yesterday, but you got number 98 slipped around you, and our quarterback got pummeled. And
he got pummeled, but okay. Well, he got sacked, yes.
For this show, we're saying he got pummeled.
Robert Mathis.
And then they made a big deal about it, what you did wrong. Will you tell us what happened?
Well, I had actually a mental lapse in a certain sense. I thought I had help from the back coming out. See, when you're playing good defensive ends like we do sometimes, you have certain what they call chipping. So a back will come out and kind of lay into him real quick before you slow him down and then get out into his route.
A little helper block.
Yeah, I thought I had a little helper block, as Robert so eloquently put it, from the back, and I was wrong. And so I underset him, meaning that I let him go up the field a little bit because I don't want to get beat inside, because I'm thinking I got help right here with a chip, and he's so good at his spin move that right when he gets chipped, he'll spin right inside, and if you overset that, then he's going to beat you inside. Well, he didn't chip him, and he was already up the field, and as you can say, he's probably as fast at a defensive end as there is in this league. And by the time I could recover, I couldn't recover and push him by the quarterback.
Robert Mathis has sacked a few quarterbacks.
And there's another touchdown right there on 3rd and 6.
He's awesome, Robert Mathis.
Hernandez?
Gronkowski, I believe, right?
Yep.
They got the two-headed tight end between Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski that are
hard matchup problems.
Yeah, both of them very tall.
Difficult.
And Hernandez more the good hands, and Gronkowski is the big
More
guy.
inline tight end,
6'7".
Yep.
Had 10 touchdown catches last year, and right there, how does he get wide open? I mean, I could have thrown that pass.
It's
He's 3 steps ahead of the nearest guy.
That's when you have that many guys on the field that can do what they can do. And Brady has time. The key to beating the Patriots to me is getting after Brady. You have to hit Brady, just like you have to hit Manning. You have to go after these guys, and you have to rush these throws.
And he fixes his hair as he sits down on the bench.
He's a good-looking human. What can he say? He can't help it. He's a good-looking human. So you want to finish with?
Oh no, I was going to say, on that guy? You against him all day, or does he move around?
No, I'm against him all day. Some teams
move around.
Is there a special
move that you got to?
Well, when you play a guy like him, listen, he's got 3 good moves. He's got the speed up the field. He's got probably the best spin move in the game. And he mixes in a power rush where he runs right into you and he tries to bull rush you, because you tend to be a little light on your feet when you're playing a guy like that, so he can catch you off guard.
So what's your move?
You got a game plan against that. To me, I've got to take away one of those moves. So I decide I usually play inside of him. I usually make him go over the top, and I push him by the quarterback. And so that's basically what I was playing for right there, thinking I had the help. I didn't, and that's on me. That was a mental mistake by myself.
Thanks for pointing that out, though.
Yeah, and that's always a great feeling, seeing your quarterback being picked up off the ground.
It's even a better feeling when you're yelling at him to watch out as you're going by, like, ah!
You got to ask him about the time he hit it in the lake. Then.
Oh well,
exactly.
I also noted that
so going back to the Masters in '96, what were you thinking on 16 when you?
Yeah, I was also noted that you bowling pinned about. When 44 went in for the score, you knocked down 2 guys over there, right? So that was you just took off.
Yeah, listen, in this league.
And you bush roll, you what do you call it?
Pancaked.
Pancaked
or cut.
Is there a certain move that makes them pancake, or you just push them over?
Well, yeah, you got to get under their pads, you got to lift them up, and you got to get that much.
It helps to be
going.
As big as Eric.
Yeah. Well, I think the big thing in this league, you're playing the best of the best.
Do you like that play?
Love it.
Is that your favorite? Like when you get the ball,
angle and you can push them over.
I'm just asking a question from a fan here.
Sure.
When you get a play and it's like, oh man, I get to take this guy out for the running back to come behind me. Is that your favorite deal?
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you can run, you have the run play that's going to come behind you, that you got a chance to make the play as an offensive lineman, you want to do that. That's what it's all about.
Other plays, when it's going the other way, you just got to make a wall there and stop them.
Sometimes it just depends on the play. Sometimes you got to go in and scoop a guy and hold him off from it. But yeah,
So you're down there ready, like gritting your teeth, ready to go.
Yeah. You always want to be run blocking. You always want to be attacking. You know, being a pass blocking is so passive in general. You have to back up. You have to back up, play against that guy. It's tough.
Does a running back come over and duke you a little steak dinner or something?
Well, the thing of it is the running backs we've had, they've always been making the minimum. So hopefully we got to get Arian a big deal so he can
Arian.
so he can hit me a big one.
Here we go.
There's a return game
Here
again.
we go with another
Ooh.
long kick return.
That's
So-
the best.
Flag on the play.
but it may be coming back. Flag down. Penalties have been a problem tonight for both teams so far.
Can you
Looks
grab
like
those
this one
guys
may
by
be
the
coming
hair?
back.
Can you grab them by the hair?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
The hair is part of the jersey.
In play.
Yep.
Because some of the guys are getting really long, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's their choice. But yeah,
really long.
you can grab the hair and it's not a penalty.
you might look good with. Can you do that?
I think you should get one built
You
into
should
your
have seen
golf
Scott
hat.
with long hair.
Yeah, I was gonna
Just
say.
before he actually
seen
went
me in
up,
the
he
80s.
had
It's another thing about being in space. Yeah.
the hair doesn't grow as well,
It
right?
doesn't grow as good.
That's Scott's excuse, right? You're like,
It's good,
I've been in
it's good
space too
space
much.
hair.
Space hair.
Perfect.